Welcome, wanderer of the quiet hours. As the mist drifts slow and the jungle hums with forgotten sounds, you're invited to leave the waking world behind, to walk slow paths, to listen for whispers, to sleep among stories before we begin. These calm, eerie journeys help you rest. Gently like this video and subscribe for more sleep-bound tales. And tell me in the comments, where in the world are you listening from tonight? It's always a comfort to know who's out there drifting off beneath the same stars. Now, close your eyes. The jungle is waiting. You find yourself walking down a path you don't recognize. The air is damp with fog, thick enough to make your breath feel heavy in your chest, though it doesn't seem to touch your skin. The trees loom over you, their branches twisting like the fingers of a forgotten hand, as if trying to catch you in the fleeting silence. They bend inward, forming a canopy above, but not a single leaf moves. Not even the breeze dares to disturb them. You take a step forward, and your foot sinks slightly into the earth, soft and yielding, like it knows you'll be gone before the mark can stay. The path is narrow. So narrow you wonder how you could have arrived here without noticing it before. How long have you been walking? You can't say for certain. The only sound is the soft crunch of earth beneath your feet. But it's a sound that doesn't feel entirely real. It feels as though it belongs to someone else. A memory of a path walked long ago, carried in the back of your mind. Just beyond your grasp, there's a clearing ahead. You can sense it, even if you can't quite see it through the thick mist. The trees grow sparse, their trunks towering like quiet sentinels. You pause for a moment, listening. The fog shifts, whispers moving through the branches. But you can't make out any words. They're too distant, too faint. The sound, however, has a way of crawling beneath your skin, making you itch for answers that slip through your fingers like water. You step forward, slowly, cautiously. The mist closes in around you, and with each step, it feels as though the world outside of this path is slipping away, no longer real, no longer important. The branches above you creak as though they're breathing, slow and steady. You wonder if they're waiting for something or someone. As you walk, you can't help but feel the weight of being watched. It's not something you can see, not something you can pinpoint. But the feeling is there, pressing in on you, curling around your thoughts. You glance over your shoulder, half expecting to see someone standing behind you. A figure cloaked in shadows, but there's nothing there. Just the fog, thickening as if to swallow the light entirely. You wonder why you don't turn back. Why the urge to move forward, to follow the winding path, is stronger than the instinct to retreat. Maybe the fog knows something you don't. Maybe it's calling you. The trees seem to shift around you, their forms elongating as though they're trying to remember something they've forgotten. There's a rustling, but no leaves fall. There's no wind. The ground beneath your feet feels more solid now, more familiar, though you can't say why. Your footsteps echo before you take them, as if the path is waiting for you to catch up. The silence around you is a blanket. Heavy, smothering, but not uncomfortably so. It feels like the silence of someone else's home, a house that's known more than it's said, holding secrets in the quiet corners. The farther you walk, the less you remember. Were you always on this path? Was it always this foggy? The edges of your thoughts seem to blur and soften like a faded photograph. And you're left wondering if this is real or just something you've dreamed. And yet, in the haze, you see something shift ahead. A light, faint but steady, just barely visible through the mist. It could be nothing. The flicker of a distant lantern. The glow of something that belongs only to the fog. Still, it pulls at you, steady and insistent. Like a thread you cannot resist pulling. The light grows brighter the closer you get. It's no lantern. The glow seems to ripple in the air itself, undulating, breathing, like it's not just light, but a presence. The closer you come, the more it feels as though the path beneath you is changing, morphing with each step you take, as if it's leading you to something you should have known all along, but have only just realized. There is something soothing about the light, something that makes you feel both lost and found. You step forward, one step, then another. The ground shifts underfoot, a brief tremor, as if the earth itself has just remembered something. The trees creak, their limbs sighing. The faintest whisper brushes against your ear, though the sound is too soft to make out. The light seems to beckon you, not aggressively, but as though it knows you've wandered long enough. You reach it and stop. The glow is warm, though not blinding, hovering in the middle of the clearing like a pulse. You can't look directly at it, but you can feel it, like a touch on your skin, gentle and knowing. You wait. Nothing moves. The silence continues, stretching and folding in on itself, wrapping you up in its stillness. As you stand there, the edges of the clearing begin to blur, the trees around you flickering in and out of view, as if they too are fading in and out of focus, barely there. You turn slowly, and for a brief moment, you feel it again, the sensation of being watched, of something standing behind you, just out of reach. You spin around, but there's nothing there, only the fog, thick and still. But as you turn back, the light has shifted. It's no longer in the center of the clearing, but to one side, farther than it was, though you couldn't have moved. You hesitate for a moment, unsure whether to follow it, unsure of the pull, the whisper that now comes from the trees. There's something familiar about the sound, something you think you've heard before but can't quite place. A voice, maybe. Or maybe the trees, whose branches are beginning to sway, just a little, as though they remember something you've forgotten. You take a step toward the light. Your foot sinks slightly into the earth, but it's no longer soft. It's firm, solid, as though the path has settled into itself, and you are no longer walking through it, but with it. The whisper rises again, just barely a hum, carried on a wind that you can't feel. The light shifts again, moving farther. You follow it, this time quicker, more certain. The air smells faintly of wet earth, but also of something older, something that feels as though it's been waiting for you. With each step, the path becomes less clear. The trees, once towering over you, begin to lean in, their branches reaching forward, as if trying to touch you. You stop, just before they do. The air stirs for the first time since you began this walk. A single leaf, glowing faintly in the light, drifts down in front of you, its movement so slow it almost feels like it's floating in time. The sound of a voice reaches you then, not clear, but distinct. It doesn't say anything you can understand, but the tone is there, soft, insistent, like a memory you've almost forgotten. The fog swirls, and you can hear the voice again, this time closer. It's as though the air itself is speaking, but before you can take another step, the light flickers, then vanishes. You stand there, in the heart of the mist, and listen to the soft creak of the trees as they bend and sway. The air feels colder now, and the fog thicker. And though there's no sign of the light, you can still feel its warmth, as though it lingers in the very air around you. And then, a sound faint distant. A footstep or maybe just a whisper. You can't tell. It's too soft to be certain, but you know it's there, just beyond your reach. And then, silence. The path stretches on, deeper into the mist. The trees wait. You take a slow, careful step forward. The lanterns beckon you forward, their pale light trembling like the soft pulse of something long forgotten. You can't remember how you came to this place, nor when you began walking, yet the lanterns call to you with a familiarity that feels both comforting and unsettling. They sway gently in the damp air, like sentinels marking the path, lighting your way through the fog that swirls around your feet. The mist clings to your skin, soft and cool, as if it is trying to pull you deeper into the shadows. It has no weight, no substance, yet it thickens the air, pressing in on you. The scent of damp earth and something more elusive, something like memory or a dream half remembered, fills your lungs. Every breath is like stepping deeper into a world that feels both familiar and foreign. As if you are walking through the space between dreams and waking, you follow the light. You have no choice. The lanterns flicker with an almost rhythmic pulse, their glow swelling and shrinking with each breath of the wind that passes through the hollow. The trees, tall and twisted, stretch upward like hands reaching for something just beyond reach. Their leaves shimmer faintly in the dim light, as if they too remember something that lies just beyond your grasp. You reach out, brushing your fingers against the bark of a tree. It is cool to the touch, smooth and rough in all the right places, as if it has been here for as long as you can remember. The wind whispers through the branches above you, soft and distant, like the voice of someone calling your name from a place you can't quite place. The ground beneath your feet shifts, as though the earth itself is breathing, rising and falling. With each step you take, it feels as if the hollow is alive, watching, listening, holding its breath as you move further into its depths. Every sound seems muted, swallowed by the thickening fog, and yet there's a persistent hum, a faint sound like the distant crackle of static, as though the air itself is speaking to you, carrying a voice you can't hear clearly, but feel in the bones of your body. Ahead, the lanterns shimmer. The light changes, flickering more erratically now, as though they're trying to show you something just out of sight. Their glow grows dimmer with each step you take, as though they too are afraid of what's ahead. You feel a tug at the edges of your mind, a faint sense of recognition, but the memory is too elusive to hold on to. The path before you winds deeper, and the mist thickens, swirling like smoke. The further you go, the heavier it feels to breathe, as if the very air is laden with forgotten things. The wind stirs again, its whispers growing louder. This time, it carries something more distinct. A word, a name, but it's too soft, too indistinct for you to understand. The name slips through your thoughts, leaving only the faintest trace, like the taste of salt on the air. You know it. You feel it, but you can't grasp it. The lanterns grow brighter, their flickering light casting long dancing shadows on the ground. You pause for a moment, and the hollow seems to hold its breath, the silence settling around you like a thick, invisible fog. The trees shift in the wind, their branches creaking like old bones. and for a brief moment, you think you hear a sound. The faintest echo of footsteps, too soft to be real, yet so certain. The footsteps follow you, pacing your own a heartbeat. In the distance, you move forward again, though you don't know why. The path before you seems to stretch endlessly, winding and twisting through the mist, but the lanterns, like guardians of this place, remain ahead of you, their soft glow steady and unyielding. The air grows colder, and the mist curls around, your ankles thickening with each step. The hollow feels different now. It's as though the lanterns are not merely guiding you, but drawing you deeper into something you don't fully understand. The trees loom closer now, their twisted limbs nearly blocking the light. The lanterns flicker in time with the rise and fall of your breath, their glow casting strange, shifting shapes on the ground. The shadows stretch long, bending unnaturally, as if they have a life of their own. The footsteps continue, now more distinct, more deliberate. You pause again, heart racing, and the silence envelops you. There's no sound but the soft rustle of the leaves above, and the steady hum of the wind. Yet, the feeling of being watched, of something moving just beyond your reach, is growing stronger. You are not alone. You never were. A voice calls to you, or perhaps it's only a whisper. A sound so faint it feels like a thought more than anything else. It's not your name, not quite, but it carries that same sense of familiarity. A word lost in the fog, a memory slipping from your grasp. The lanterns flicker again, a heartbeat away from darkness. You take another step, and the mist curls tighter around you, swallowing you whole. The hollow seems to shift, as if it is alive. The trees, the mist, the lanterns, everything around you feels like it's breathing, shifting with every step you take. You wonder how long you've been walking, how long you've been following the lanterns, yet there's no answer. Time is fluid here, like a dream that doesn't quite know when it started or when it will end. And then, the path before you opens up. The lanterns shine brightly now, casting their light across a clearing, a quiet, almost sacred space. The air is thick with the scent of moss and earth, and the mist lingers, swirling gently at the edges. The trees stand tall around you, their branches twisting and reaching toward the sky. But there is something else here, something you hadn't noticed before. A figure stands at the edge of the clearing, just at the limit of the lantern light. They are too distant to make out clearly, but you feel their presence. It's not fear, not quite, but an unsettling familiarity, like an old memory that refuses to stay hidden. You step closer, drawn toward the figure by the soft flicker of the lanterns. The footsteps behind you follow, echoing softly in the mist. But when you turn, there's nothing there. No one. Only the trees, the fog, and the faint, lingering hum of static in the air. The figure does not move, but their presence presses in on you, filling the hollow with a silence that is both soothing and strange. You take another step forward, and the figure remains just out of reach, their outline shifting with the light. The mist curls tighter around you, closing in on your form, as if it too is watching, waiting. You stand at the threshold of the clearing, just before crossing into the unknown, and the world holds its breath. A shadow slips past you, vanishing into the trees. The lanterns flicker once more, then dim, as if someone has taken a breath, and in doing so, extinguished the light. The air is thick with the feeling of something almost there but never fully realized, like the shadow of a thought that dissipates just before you grasp it. And then, all is still. The footsteps are gone. The figure has vanished. The lanterns are mere glimmers in the distance, their light soft and fading, as if someone has pulled them back into the fog. You are alone once more, with only the silence to keep you company. And in that silence, there is a faint, lingering sense of something watching just beyond the edges of the mist, just out of sight. The lanterns flicker once, their lights swallowing the last traces of the shadow, then fading into the hollow. The air feels still, too still, as though it has been holding its breath. You step forward, but the world seems to shift around you. And in the soft rustle of the leaves, you feel something watching you, just out of reach. The moon hangs low tonight, its pale glow spilling across the forest like a forgotten song. There is a stillness, a quiet that wraps itself around you, filling every corner of the night with a silence so complete it hums against your skin. Walk, and with each step, the ground beneath your feet seems to breathe with you, as if the earth itself is alive, listening. The trees stand tall, their branches thin and sharp against the sky, reaching out like the fingers of someone you once knew. Their shadows twist across the path, stretching longer than they should, bending in ways that don't feel quite right. You blink, and for a moment, the forest doesn't seem to belong to you anymore. It shifts, slipping between the layers of what is and what was. You can almost hear a tan echo of something faintly familiar, but too distant to grasp. The wind is soft, but it carries something with it, a whisper from far away. It speaks in a language you don't understand, yet it feels like something you've known forever. It brushes against your face, cool and fleeting, pulling your hair from your neck, and for a moment, you feel as though the forest is breathing. With you, each footstep you take is a gentle thud in the earth, and yet it lingers, echoing in the quiet. The path stretches ahead of you, but you cannot see where it ends, or if it ends at all. There is no destination here, only the movement forward, an endless walking through something ancient and unknowable. And still, you follow, drawn by a force you don't fully understand. The trees seem to remember you. There is a familiarity in their crooked shapes, in the way their bark creaks as the wind passes through, but you can't place it. Perhaps you've walked this path before, or perhaps this is the first time. Time has a way of losing its meaning here, in the moonlight, in the whisper of the wind. Somewhere, deeper in the forest, something stirs. It's not a noise you can hear, but something you feel, a presence, watching, waiting. You stop, breath caught in your throat, and listen. But all you can hear is the rustling of the leaves, the faraway song of an owl, and the soft, rhythmic creaking of the trees. You continue forward, but now, you're not sure if the path is leading you, or if you are leading it. The forest seems to shift with each step, folding in on itself, drawing you closer to the heart of it, where the shadows grow longer and deeper. There are shapes moving between the trees, just beyond the edge of your vision. They don't make a sound, but you feel them. They're there, and they are waiting. You walk faster now, drawn by an unseen force, your heartbeat quickening with each step. The air grows colder, the moonlight more intense, and the path beneath your feet begins to change. It twists and turns, winding through the trees, but you can't remember which direction you've come from. The forest seems to have a mind of its own, shifting with every thought you have, every movement you make. The shadows move with you, pulling you deeper into their embrace. As you walk, you catch glimpses of faces, half formed in the corners of your vision. They're not real, you tell yourself, but they feel real, the way a dream feels real when you wake up in the middle of the night. Their eyes seem to follow you, watching, waiting for something you can't understand. You try to ignore them, but they are there, persistent. Like memories you've forgotten but can't escape. The wind picks up again, and with it, the whispers grow louder. It's as if the trees themselves are speaking, their voices indistinct, but full of meaning. You cannot make sense of them, but you feel them. They feel like the weight of old thoughts, of things unsaid, things lost in time. A sudden rustle in the underbrush stops you. You freeze, every muscle tensing, and for a moment, the forest holds its breath with you. The silence that follows is thick and heavy, filled with an expectation you can't name. Then, the sound of footsteps, not your own. They echo, soft and hesitant, but unmistakable. They come from ahead, from deeper within the trees. They sound like your own, but they aren't. Someone else is walking this path, just beyond the reach of the moonlight, just out of sight. The footsteps stop, and the air grows heavier. It's as if the forest itself is waiting, waiting for something you cannot see. You step forward, your heart racing now, and the footsteps resume, though they remain just out of your sight. You quicken your pace, driven by a compulsion you don't fully understand. The path grows narrower, the trees closer, their branches reaching toward you like thin, grasping hands. The whispers grow louder, the footsteps louder, until they're all you can hear, all you can feel. Then, suddenly, the footsteps stop, and the forest holds its breath again. You stand still, waiting, feeling the weight of the silence pressing down on you. For a moment, there is nothing but the distant howl of the wind, the rustling of the trees, and the pounding of your own heart. The shadows seem to shift, to move with a purpose, and you know without knowing how that you are not alone. The path stretches before you, endless, winding, leading deeper into the heart of the forest, where the moonlight seems to fade and the shadows grow stronger. You take a step, then another, and the footsteps follow, just behind you, just out of reach. You walk faster now, the air thick with the smell of damp earth, and something else, something faintly sweet. The forest seems to pulse around you, alive, with something that is not quite alive, a presence that lingers at the edges of your thoughts. The footsteps are closer now, just behind you, and you can feel the weight of someone's gaze upon your back, and then, just as you think you can't take it any longer, the footsteps stop, and the world around you shifts. The path, once clear, now seems to stretch impossibly far ahead, lost in the fog that has rolled in from nowhere. The trees bend and sway, their shadows twisting in strange patterns, and you realize, with a slow, sinking feeling, that the forest is not just alive, is watching. You take a breath, and the air is thick, heavy with the scent of wet leaves and something else, something old. The footsteps are gone, but you know they are still there, waiting. The forest shifts again, and you know without understanding why that the path will never end. It will always stretch forward, always pull you deeper into its heart, where something waits for you, something unseen. And then, just as you think you've reached the edge, the path disappears, fading into the night. The trees are silent. The whispers are gone. The footsteps are lost in the wind. You stand there, in the cold, moonlit clearing, feeling the weight of the forest's gaze upon you. And then, from somewhere deep within the woods, you hear it. A door, creaking softly on its hinges, closing just out of sight. The trees sway in silence, their limbs heavy with fog. A soft exhale, like a whispering wind, moves through the branches, though no breath of wind stirs the leaves. The air is thick, heavy with the scent of damp earth and memory. You cannot see. Beyond the shadows they cast only the faint outlines of bark and twisted roots reaching from the ground like ancient hands, beckoning you to step deeper. You follow the uneven path as it winds through the woods, each step sinking slightly into the earth, as though the ground itself is reluctant to let you go. The weight of your feet presses into the soft soil, leaving a mark that the wind seems to erase, only for another shadow to follow close behind. You are not alone, though no one is near. There is something following you, a quiet, unseen presence that echoes with each step you take. The trees bend toward you, the branches creaking like ancient bones shifting beneath the weight of forgotten things. As you walk, a low hum begins to vibrate beneath your skin, a pulse that matches the rhythm of your heartbeat, slow and steady, yet unfamiliar. You glance over your shoulder, but the fog is dense. You see nothing but the mist, thick like a memory, that refuses to fade, curling around the trunks of trees and slithering over the ground, as though the earth itself is drowning in it. The woods feel alive, not in the way that things breathe, but in the way that something remembers. You cannot place it, but there's a pull, a longing in the silence, a sense that the trees are watching, waiting for you to turn and see what they've seen. You walk deeper, though the path has no end, only curves that seem to lead back on themselves, as if the forest does not want you to leave. The air grows colder, and you shiver, though you cannot tell if it is the chill of the night or the weight of time pressing against you. A flicker of something distant, a rustle, a soft sound like footsteps just out of sync with your own, causes you to pause. You turn again, your breath catching in your chest. The fog parts, just for a moment, and you catch a glimpse of someone moving just beyond the reach of the mist. But when you step forward, the shape is gone. There is only the empty space where it once lingered, like a forgotten thought, slipping through the cracks of memory. The woods seem to hold their breath, and the pulse beneath your skin quickens, its rhythm growing more insistent, more demanding. You continue walking, though the path grows more uncertain with each step. The earth shifts beneath you, and with each step you take, the sound of your footsteps grows heavier, as though the ground itself is pressing back against you. The echoes of your movement begin to distort, stretching out longer, fainter, becoming not your own, but someone else's. Someone who walked this path long before you. The trees seem to lean closer, their branches reaching for you with a slow, deliberate grace. The air grows thick with the scent of moss and decay, and the humming pulse beneath your skin grows louder. It's as though the forest is remembering you, remembering the shape of your presence, and now it is calling you back. But to where, and for what? A sudden gust of wind, or perhaps the shifting of the trees, causes the fog to swirl and shift. In the movement, you hear it, a faint whisper, so quiet it is almost lost to the noise of your own thoughts. It is your name, or it might be The sound is unfamiliar, as though it comes from someone who once knew you, but has forgotten the shape of your voice. The whisper lingers, hanging in the mist like the scent of something long gone. You stop listening, straining to catch the echo of it again, but it is gone. The silence presses in, thick and suffocating, and you feel the weight of it pushing against you, urging you to move, to walk, but your legs are heavy, as if the earth beneath you is reluctant to let you go. You begin to walk once more, each step slower, each breath deeper, as if the air itself is becoming thicker, heavier with each passing moment. The fog clings to your skin, a cold touch that lingers long after you move on. The whisper comes again, but this time it is clearer. It's not your name. It's a word you do not understand, a sound that feels as if it's been pulled from the very heart of the earth. Born of a language lost to time, the trees shift again, their shadows stretching out like fingers reaching for something forgotten, something lost. You walk between them, your footsteps muffled by the fog, and with each step, the silence becomes more oppressive, like the weight of centuries pressing down upon you. The path ahead begins to blur, the line between what is real and what is memory growing thin, dissolving. You cannot tell where the path ends and where the fog begins, as if they are one and the same. You have walked for so long that you cannot remember how you began. You are not sure if you even can leave anymore. And then, just as you begin to lose yourself in the haze, the whisper comes again. Louder this time, insistent. It is close. So close that you can almost feel it, brushing against the back of your neck, like a breath. You turn, but again, there is nothing. Only the mist that swirls and coils like a living thing, the trees around. You seem to breathe slow and steady, as if they are alive with memories of things that have come before, things that were lost. The silence returns, but this time, it is not empty. It is full of waiting, like the pause before the start of something, the moment before the truth is revealed. You are not sure what you are waiting for, but you know that it is near. You know that the answer lies just beyond the fog, in the place where you are not yet. And then, as if to answer you, there is a soft, gentle sound, a footstep, a single step, echoing in the fog. It is not your own. It is the footstep of someone who walked this path before you. Someone who left their mark here long ago, and now their echo calls to you, soft and distant, like the whisper of a dream. You turn, but you cannot see them. There is no one there, only the mist, but the footsteps continue, faint but insistent, as though they are calling you forward, urging you to follow, to remember what was forgotten. And just as you begin to take a step toward them, the sound fades. The footsteps vanish, leaving only the empty space between you and the mist. The fog thickens once more, swirling and curling, as though the world is slowly closing in around you. There is a presence here, something ancient and unseen, waiting for you to remember, but it is fleeting, always just out of reach. The world holds its breath as you stand there, caught between the past and the present, between what was and what could have been. Then, with a soft rustle, the mist shifts. A figure, just beyond the trees, stands watching. But when you blink, they are gone. The trees return to their stillness, the earth soft beneath your feet. The echo of the footsteps lingers, but there is nothing to chase. You continue to walk the path unfolding before you. the fog thick around you. The shadows are long now, stretching into the mist, and you feel that presence again, close behind you. But when you turn, there is nothing. Only the soft, endless fog, and the memory of something lost, slipping away. The mist thickens, curling around you like a whisper you cannot catch. The shadows deepen, the silence holds its breath. And just as you feel the presence of someone or something close behind, you turn once more, but the path ahead is empty. Only the soft rustle of leaves, only the slow, steady breath of the earth. The trees surround you like sentinels, their limbs heavy with the weight of quiet. You had not meant to find this place, but now that you are here, it feels as though it's always been waiting. The air is thick, warm in a way that seems unnatural. It is not the heat of the sun, nor the warmth of a fire. It is something else, like a heartbeat felt in the air. You wonder if the ground beneath you breathes, if it moves in time with the pulse of this strange place above. The sky hangs low. It is not dark, but neither is it light. It is the color of something forgotten, the hue of dreams half remembered. A pale, faraway glow lingers like a star lost at the edges of consciousness. It pulls at you, a faint pull that feels more like a memory than a sensation. You can't place it. You step forward, the ground soft beneath your feet. There is a whisper in the wind, too faint to understand, yet too familiar to ignore. The sound moves through the trees like a conversation you should have been part of. The voice is broken, fragments of words that slip past you, just out of reach. They say nothing, but still, you hear them, almost you pause. In the silence that follows, you notice how the trees bend toward you. Not aggressively, but as if they are curious. As if they are studying you in the same way you are studying them. The branches sway with a quiet grace, and in the spaces between them, there is something else. Something that flickers. A shape. A shadow. It moves and then stops. Too quick to hold on to. You take a step toward it. Then another. Your footsteps fall in sync with a sound that is not your own. It echoes faintly, stretching out before you. For a moment, it is as if the ground beneath you remembers where you are. Like a path that leads you somewhere you cannot see. In the distance, the clearing widens. The trees part slightly, as though welcoming you into the heart of this place. It feels too easy, this welcome, too natural, but still, you step forward. Your feet take you there. As you enter the center of the clearing, the air shifts. The faint pull grows stronger, and for the first time, you feel like something is watching you. But it's not a presence you can name. It is as if the land itself is aware of you. You are not alone here, but you are not seen either. A breeze stirs the long grass, sending ripples through the delicate blades. It smells of earth, but there is something else to it. Something subtle. You breathe it in, and it feels like you've known this scent forever. It is a feeling, not a fragrance, an old, buried memory that slips through your fingers when you try to grasp it. You stand there for a moment, breathing, listening, waiting. The voices return. They are clearer now, though you still cannot catch them fully. You think you hear your name. You think you hear the names of those you have forgotten. The wind swirls them around you, wrapping them in the soft rustling of the trees. It's a language you don't understand, but somehow know. You close your eyes. The voices grow louder, or perhaps it's just the feeling of them. They sound like wind chimes, like someone humming a melody that drifts just out of reach. It feels like they belong to you, but you are not sure they ever did. When you open your eyes, you are no longer certain of where you stand. The clearing, or whatever this place is, seems to stretch farther than it did before. The trees are closer now, their trunks twisted like they have been shaped by the passage of time, by the very air itself. The clearing itself seems to pulse, as if it is alive, breathing with you. You could almost believe that the land shifts to accommodate you, to wrap itself around your body. You glance over your shoulder, and for a brief moment, the trees seem to move with you, just a flicker, a subtle shift in the air. You are not sure if they moved at all, but the sensation lingers, like the aftertaste of a dream, and then there is something more. A shadow at the edge of your vision. You turn your head, and there it is, not quite a shape, but something that presses against the edges of your awareness. You can feel it watching you, though it is impossible to say from where. The clearing is vast and empty, but there, in the corner of your mind, there is something that doesn't belong. You step back, heart quickening, and then like a wave receding, it disappears. The presence is gone. The clearing returns to stillness. The voices, however, remain. They are different now. They no longer sound like whispers from the trees, but like faint echoes from the earth beneath your feet. You can't understand them, but you don't need to. The longer you listen, the more you realize that they are not trying to be understood. They simply are, just as this place simply is. You breathe deeply again, trying to steady your thoughts. The air has shifted again, growing colder, more distant. A chill settles over you, though it is not the cold of night. It is the cold of absence. Kind of cold that fills the space when something has just left. The wind picks up, and the trees sway with it. It feels like the land is exhaling, releasing something into the air. You feel it in your chest, a gentle rise and fall in your breath, as if the earth itself is taking you into its pulse. The scent of the air grows stronger again, more familiar, yet you still can't place it. With every passing moment, the clearing seems to stretch, to breathe more deeply, as if it knows you are here. But just as quickly, the pull begins to fade. It is slow at first, like the closing of a door. The wind slows, the grass no longer ripples with the same intensity, and the whispers in the air begin to quiet. You stand still, unsure of when or if the place will ever release you. It feels as though time here has no meaning, that it has folded in on itself, leaving you caught in the folds. The quiet stretches on, and in the distance, the soft light of the distant star flickers, as though blinking in and out of reality, and then it is gone. The clearing is empty. You are standing in the center of nothing, as though it was never there. The wind has stopped, the trees still, and the air now carries only a faint sense of silence. The world outside the clearing, whatever that was, seems to pull away from you, like a dream fading in the morning light. You take a step back. Behind you something shifts. It is only a faint sound, something like a breath, too soft to be real, but it is enough. The world around you shifts in a slow spiral, a soft blur of shapes and whispers. The trees bend in patterns that seem to mock the natural order, their branches twisting like the delicate arms of a watch. Their leaves shimmer in the dim light, flickering as though caught in the slow grind of time itself. You stand still, taking in the odd beauty of the scene. The ground beneath your feet is soft, almost like velvet, and the air smells faintly of rust and old wood. It's cool here, colder than you expected, and there's a strange feeling of something pulling at your senses, a constant hum that dances just beyond the edge of your hearing. As you begin to walk, the leaves crunch softly underfoot, a delicate sound swallowed by the thick air. You don't know how you got here. The path ahead of you seems both familiar and foreign, winding through the tall trees, the forest opening in places to reveal strange, mechanical contraptions. At first, you think they might be clocks, their faces barely visible beneath the thick ivy that grows up their metal frames, twisting as though alive. There's a sound like a faint tick-tick, a quiet pulse coming from deep within the woods. The rhythm is slow, deliberate, but it seems to echo through you, resonating with something in your chest. You pause, listening. The sound feels almost like a heartbeat. The path curves again, and you step closer to one of the old machines. It is ancient, rusted at the edges but still whole. Its gears are exposed, large and turning with a gentle, deliberate motion. They spin slowly, their movement hypnotic, like time itself is being wound tighter and tighter. You wonder if it will ever stop, if it will ever run out of time. A flash of movement catches your eye. A figure stands just ahead, barely visible through the thick mist that's begun to swirl around your feet. The person is cloaked in shadow, but you sense their presence strong, quiet, like an echo in the stillness of this place. For a moment, they seem to sway with the rhythm of the clocks, their body bending and shifting with the gears as though they, too, are part of this strange machinery. You take a step forward, but the figure vanishes into the fog, leaving only a lingering sense of something unfinished, a question unanswered. The tick-tick-tick of the clock is louder now, louder than the wind that whispers between the trees. You feel the pulse of it in your bones, a reminder of something lost, something slipping just out of reach. The trees bend lower, their branches now so close they almost brush your shoulders. They seem to lean in, as if waiting for something, watching you with eyes that are not quite there. You walk on, the feeling of eyes following you intensifying. The path curves again, leading you deeper into the heart of the forest. Here, the trees stand taller, their trunks twisted into shapes that resemble the winding paths of forgotten roads. Their leaves rustle, but the sound isn't natural, it's as if they are whispering in a language you almost understand, like the soft murmur of a forgotten melody. The clock's tick is louder now, louder than the wind, louder than your own breath. You try to ignore it, but it's impossible. It has taken root in your mind, growing with every step you take. Ahead, the mist parts slightly, revealing a small clearing. The center of the space is occupied by an old stone fountain, the water in it moving, flowing in slow, lazy circles. The surface ripples, catching the faint light that filters through the branches above. On the stone, there's an inscription, an engraving worn smooth by time. You step closer, bending down to read it. Time moves forward, but it is always waiting. The words are faint, half erased by the passage of years, but they echo in your mind. You stand there for a long while, staring at the fountain, watching the water flow in its endless circle. A feeling of deep sadness settles in your chest, a soft ache that you can't quite place. It feels like you've been here before, like this place, this moment, has already happened. You blink, And when you open your eyes, the world is different. The fountain is gone, replaced by something new. A table stands in its place, covered with old, yellowed pages and dusty clocks of all shapes and sizes. On the table, there is a single watch, its face cracked, its hands frozen in time. You reach for it, your fingers brushing the glass. The moment your skin touches the surface, the clock's hands begin to move again. Slowly, shakily, like the first hesitant breath of something long forgotten. The sound of ticking fills the air, and for a moment, you feel as though you are part of the clock, part of the ticking itself. But then, the ticking stops. The world around you seems to pause, as though holding its breath. In the stillness, the mist swirls around you, and you hear something else, a voice, distant but familiar. It is calling your name, soft and insistent, the tone one of deep longing. You turn, but there is no one there, just the empty space where the figure once stood. The trees around you begin to creak, their branches shifting in time with the ticking, like they, too, are waiting for something. The Clockmaker's garden is alive with the soft, steady pulse of time, but something is missing, a key, perhaps, or a piece of the puzzle that hasn't been found yet. You step back, a shiver running down your spine. The watch is still in your hand, its face flickering between moments. Now one time, now another, its hands spinning wildly. It is as though the clock is lost, unable to find its rhythm. You place the watch back on the table and step away. The mist grows thicker, swirling around your feet, rising up to meet you. The trees grow darker, their shapes more distorted, as though time is bending here, too. The tick-tick-tick fades, swallowed by the weight of the silence. You turn to leave. But as you do, you feel it, a presence just behind you, something watching from the fog. The air grows colder, and for a fleeting moment, you wonder if it was ever really empty here at all. You take another step, and then another, until the path seems to open up before you, leading back to the place you started. The clocks, the trees, the fountain, they all blur and fade, slipping away into the mist, as though they were never there at all. The only thing left is the sound of your footsteps, echoing in the silence, and the strange feeling that you've forgotten something important. You walk on, and the world behind you stays still, waiting. The final echoes of your footsteps are swallowed by the fog. It starts with the quiet, a soft, almost imperceptible shift in the air, like the world exhaling slowly, letting go of a breath that you never noticed you were holding. The fog wraps around you, rising from the earth, a living thing that pulls at your senses, blurring the lines between where you are and where you are not. You can barely make out the shapes of the trees now, their twisted limbs like fingers stretching, yearning toward something lost. You do not know how long you've been walking. The path beneath you feels solid, yet strangely distant, as though the ground were not quite real, as though it exists only to disappear at the moment you think you understand it. You glance down, but there is nothing to see. Your feet are swallowed by the fog, your shoes, the earth, everything vanishing into that soft, unbroken white. Still, you walk. You do not think to stop. It feels right, somehow, to keep moving. As if something is guiding you. Something unseen but unmistakable. The rhythm of your steps slow, deliberate echoes through the air, breaking the stillness with a sound so familiar, so comforting. But there's something else, something more. You hear it. A faint whisper, A footstep, just one. It lingers in the air, soft as if it too is waiting for something, as if it is listening for a sound just beyond your reach. The hairs on the back of your neck rise, though you cannot say why. It could be nothing, you tell yourself. But then, another step, measured, deliberate. Following you, you stop. The fog presses in on you, thickening, swirling with something like a pulse. A breath, deep and slow. You stand still for a moment, your heart thumping in your chest. You listen, but the world is silent. Still another step. This time, the sound is clearer, closer, almost a whisper, in the very air itself. It matches your own pace, as if someone else is walking beside you, in perfect harmony. You hold your breath, listening for any change in the rhythm, but there is none. Each footfall is a mirror of your own, a reflection that you cannot quite catch. You move again, unsure of what to do. You glance over your shoulder, nothing. Just the fog, the same pale haze that stretches endlessly in all directions. It holds the world, but only half of it. There's something beyond it, something hidden, something waiting, but the fog keeps it veiled. You can feel it in the air, like a weight pressing down on your chest. The footsteps follow. The wind shifts. Suddenly, swirling the fog like a blanket over your head. It smells faintly of damp earth and old wood, but beneath that, there is something sharper, something colder. It's the scent of time lost, of memories fading into the distance. It pulls at you, urging you forward, and so you go. Your feet leave imprints in the soft earth, but the fog soon swallows them, erasing all evidence of your passing. You could be walking in circles, for all you know. The world you've known has gone quiet, the sounds of the trees now muted, the whispers of birds or insects gone. It is as though nothing exists here except the fog and you and the footsteps that follow, just a beat behind. You quicken your pace, but the footsteps do not hesitate. They match your movement, each step synchronized. They are so close now that you can almost feel them, the soft press of air, the subtle shifting of weight as another presence moves with you, beside you. You look over your shoulder once more, heart pounding, but there's nothing, only the fog, only the endless, swirling nothingness. But it isn't nothing, is it? The fog, thick and alive, watches you. It knows you, somehow. It breathes the same way you do, its rhythm, a mirror of your own. Each step you take, it takes with you, and yet, the footsteps are not your own. No, they are separate, familiar, but strange. You can feel your pulse quicken as the ground beneath you softens. The path, once firm, now shifts underfoot. And you have the strange sensation of walking in water, though your feet never dip below the surface. There is a coldness to the air now, one that bites at your skin. The world is growing darker, the fog denser, the footsteps a steady, insistent rhythm, echoing through the space around you. A flicker catches your eye. A figure, just for a second, in the corner of your vision. You turn sharply, heart racing, but there is nothing. Nothing but the fog, thick and empty. But the footsteps, they have changed. They are no longer in perfect step with yours. Now they move faster, slipping ahead of you, as if the other presence is no longer walking beside you, but just a few steps beyond, waiting for you to follow. You cannot see its face. You do not know what it looks like, but you feel its presence, its gaze upon you. an unspoken invitation to follow. Deeper into the fog, the trees grow sparser now, their branches like twisted fingers reaching into the haze. The fog creeps closer, tightening around you, enclosing you. Your steps falter, but the sound of the footsteps doesn't waver. They still echo, just ahead, just behind, and then something shifts in the air, a subtle change. The fog parts, just enough to reveal a glimpse of something far off, a shape, a dark outline, indistinct and flickering. It could be a building, or perhaps a figure, standing still and watching, but it is too far away to make out, and the fog swallows it again, pulling it back into the mist. The footsteps grow louder, closer, now almost in front of you. They match your breath, slow, deliberate, a steady rhythm. You can feel the presence of the other now, right beside you, the air thick with its gaze. The fog closes in, thick as wool. You can no longer see the path. Your feet move instinctively, but your thoughts are muddled, caught somewhere between this world and the next. The footsteps echo in your mind, their rhythm quickening, louder now, as though urging you forward. A sound like a sigh fills the air, deep and almost familiar, like a voice you once knew, now lost. Then, all at once, the sound stops. The footsteps, your footsteps, the others, they all cease, as though the world itself is holding its breath. You stand still. The fog presses in, thick and soft. The silence is heavy. You wait, but no sound comes. You strain your ears, but there is nothing now, not even a whisper. For a moment, you wonder if you've imagined it all, the footsteps, the presence, the fog itself. But then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the fog begins to thin, pulling back, retreating into the distance. You take a slow step forward, but the ground beneath you feels different now, firmer, as though the path has returned. The air is lighter, clearer. You can breathe again, but as you look ahead, there is something at the edge of the fog, just out of sight. Something that flickers and vanishes in the blink of an eye. A shadow, a movement. You can't quite tell if it's real or if it is just another fragment of the dream. And still the footsteps echo softly in your mind, lingering in the silence, following you, always following. The fog stirs, just once, as though breathing, and then it is gone. You stand in the quiet, alone, but for the faintest sense that you are not. There, in the soft, fading distance, a shadow shifts. Just a flicker, a movement, then nothing. The air smells of damp earth, cool and thick. You walk through the fading twilight, the ground beneath your feet soft, each step muffled by the thick blanket of moss. The forest seems to grow still, even the wind hesitating before it moves. You feel its hand, unsettling, quiet, like the world around you is holding its breath, waiting for something. The trees are tall here, their dark silhouettes against the bruised sky, their bark thick with age and memory. Ahead, a shape emerges from the shadows. At first it is nothing but a blur in the gathering dusk, but as you draw closer, the form becomes clearer, an oak, ancient and twisted. Its trunk is thick and knotted, gnarled like the fingers of an old woman, its roots snaking outward, curling like tendrils reaching for the earth. It seems to be waiting for you, though you can't remember why. You pause, a strange pull tightening in your chest. The oak stands in the center of a clearing, as though it is the heart of this forest, its presence commanding. The branches stretch out, long and thin, reaching towards the sky like desperate hands. There is something about it, something that makes you hesitate. Your feet rooted to the ground despite every instinct telling you to turn away. The hollow in the center of the tree calls to you. It is wide and dark, a void that seems to pull in all the light around it, drawing the world into itself. The wind stirs the leaves above, but it does not reach the hollow, as though it, too, is afraid of what waits inside. You find your feet, moving, slow and steady, as if your body knows what is coming before your mind does. With each step, the forest grows quieter. The sound of your footsteps on the moss becomes softer, swallowed by the earth beneath. The world around you blurs, the trees fading into dark shapes in the corners of your vision. Your breath is steady, but there is a weight in your chest now, a pressure that feels like being watched. Though there is no one there, you stand before the oak now, its hollow mouth dark and silent. It beckons, but there is no sound, no whisper. Only the pull quiet, steady. The world outside the oak seems far away, like a dream you can no longer hold on to. You lean closer to the hollow, the shadows within swallowing your gaze, and the air around you feels colder. In the silence, you hear something faint, distant, like a voice, but not a voice. It is a thought, lost and broken, slipping between your ears. The sound is static, a crackling, like the last dying breath of a radio signal. It doesn't make sense, but it doesn't need to. The thought is there, lingering just out of reach. Too faint to grasp, but close enough to feel. You reach out, fingers brushing the rough bark, the texture like old leather. The wood is cold, too cold for something alive. It does not feel like part of this world, yet you know it is. It has been here forever, waiting for you. Your hand hovers above the hollow, and for a moment it feels as though the world has stopped. The wind, which had begun to stir again, falters and dies. The earth beneath your feet shifts, just a little, like something large and old is breathing beneath it. You feel a breath on your neck, a soft whisper, though no one is there. The oak waits. You wait. Something stirs inside the hollow, a soft rustling, like leaves caught in the wind. It's faint, but it's enough. You can feel it in your chest now, a pulse, a rhythm, as though the oak itself is alive, breathing, waiting. The hollow opens wider, inviting you in. You lean forward, drawn by an invisible thread, and for a fleeting moment, the space inside seems to twist, as though it is something else, a room. A space where time moves differently, or not at all. You reach inside, your fingers brushing the cold, dark air within. A shape shifts just beyond your touchlight, like a shadow, too subtle to hold. Your pulse quickens, but you cannot pull your hand back. And then, there is a sound, a soft, almost imperceptible shift in the air. A whisper, though there are no words. It wraps around you like a forgotten memory, an echo of something once known but lost. You turn, but there is nothing behind you but the vast, silent forest. The oak groans. Its branches creak and stretch, but the sound is more than that. It is ancient, like the earth is sighing beneath its weight. The hollow stirs again, deeper this time, as though it is breathing in tandem with your own heartbeat. You feel the pressure build, the air around you thickens, the weight in your chest growing heavier, colder. The wind picks up, But it is not like the wind you've known. This one is different. It is a whisper, a voice, a presence that moves past you without touching. It carries something you cannot see, but feel in the deep parts of your mind, something ancient, forgotten. The darkness inside the hollow deepens, stretching like an abyss, and you can feel it pulling you closer, drawing you in. A breath stirs your hair, cool and damp, and then, for just a moment, you think you hear something soft, distant, a word that escapes your grasp, just like the memory that haunts the edges of your mind, but you cannot remember what it is. You cannot remember what waits for you. You step forward, drawn in by something you cannot explain. The air grows colder, the shadows deeper, and you reach out again, your fingers just brushing the edge of the hollow's dark center. There's something ancient, a presence waiting, its pulse a rhythm you cannot place. But you feel it, deep in your bones. The wind catches the last whispers of your thoughts, and then it is gone. The forest is still again, its silence oppressive, suffocating. You turn away, your steps slow, uncertain, as though the forest itself is reluctant to let you go. The oak stands behind you, its hollow dark and empty, but you can feel its eyes on you. Even from this distance, you glance back one last time. The oak remains, its branches reaching for the sky, its hollow waiting, just as it always has been. And then, you hear it, a sound, faint and soft, as though someone is calling your name from the distance. A breath, a murmur, too quiet to understand. You don't turn this time. The wind stirs again, but the air is colder now, carrying with it something else, something you cannot quite place. The oak is waiting, but you do not look back in the distance. You feel something shift, a shadow, flickering at the edge of your vision. It vanishes before you can focus on it. The world feels still, but not quite right, as though something has been left behind, a presence you cannot name. You glance over your shoulder, but the forest is empty, and the oak stands silent once more. The air is thick here, damp with something you cannot name. It clings to your skin like an old memory. The river flows beside you, its surface smooth like glass. But there is no light to catch in it, just the deep, shifting dark. You hear it, though, the water, murmuring something old, something you almost remember. It calls to you. You walk beside it, your footsteps silent against the earth, as if the very ground beneath you has forgotten how to make noise. You're not sure when you started walking, but you know you haven't stopped. There are no landmarks, no trees that you can remember seeing before, yet they seem familiar. They bend low, their leaves brushing the ground as if tired, as if they have been here too long. You walk by them as if they are old friends, watching their branches curled toward the river, as if they, too, are drawn to its whisper. The river, though, it never seems to change. It is the same length, the same winding curve, though you cannot see where it begins or ends. It loops around itself, drawing you in like the grip of something familiar and dangerous. You try not to look too closely, because there are things in that water shapes that move just beneath the surface, just enough to catch the corner of your eye. You know better than to stare at them for too long, but still, you cannot stop. The pull, the sound of the water seems to echo in the distance, but there's something wrong about it. It feels like the echo is of something that has already happened, or maybe something that is yet to come. You can't decide, but it gives the feeling that something is waiting for you. You walk slower, stepping lightly, as if any movement might disturb the balance. The world is quiet here. Too quiet only. The water's soft lap against the shore. A fog rises from the river, curling around your feet like a secret. It smells faintly of salt and something else, something you cannot place. You breathe it in, and the feeling of knowing something you have forgotten rises again, but you cannot quite hold onto it. You move forward. The river continues to stretch beside you, its soft ripples a lullaby, pulling you deeper into its sway. The air feels colder now, though you can't see the change. Maybe it's the fog, or maybe the night is moving in without you noticing. The trees seem to watch you, their limbs stretching like arms that would reach out if you let them. You feel the weight of their gaze, heavy, but not unkind, as if they have known you before long before you came here. You glance at their bark, the deep grooves carved by time, and wonder what they would say if they could. But they are silent now, and their whispers are lost in the rippling water. You reach the riverbank, and the path begins to fade behind you. The ground here is softer, and the water feels nearer, almost as if it's inviting you in. You don't move closer, not yet. There's a pull inside you, a memory that tingles in the back of your mind. You should have come here long ago, but you don't know why. You turn your gaze back to the river, and for the briefest moment, you think you see something beneath the water. Something that might be ... watching. The thought makes you pause. Your heartbeat quickens, but the air remains still, as though it has stopped breathing with you. You wonder if you should step closer, just to see if what you thought you saw is real, but you do not. Instead, you sit by the water, your legs tucked. Beneath you, the soft earth pressing against your skin. The world around you feels too large and yet too small, as though you are both part of it and outside of it at once. There's a ripple in the water, sudden, like a breath taken too late. The surface trembles, distorting the shapes beneath it. You lean forward, your eyes narrowing, trying to catch the movement. It's fleeting, just a flicker, and then the water returns to its smooth, uninterrupted calm. You lean back again, feeling the pull of the river's quiet rhythm. A whisper cuts through the stillness, barely audible at first, like a murmur carried on the wind. You can't make out the words, but you feel the weight of them, the intent, the meaning. They are calling you. You've heard them before, maybe in a dream. The voice is familiar, a soft murmur that swells from somewhere far below the surface of the water. From somewhere buried deep. You close your eyes for a moment, trying to remember. The voice rises again, gentle but insistent, like a hand brushing your skin, but when you open your eyes, there is nothing there but the river, the fog, and the trees bending silently in the distance. The air feels colder now, almost sharp. You feel the hairs on the back of your neck prickle, as though you are no longer alone. You stand, your limbs slow but steady, and begin to walk again, your eyes never leaving the river's winding path. The water is darker here, deeper, so deep you cannot see where it ends. The whispering voice comes again, clearer now. You hear it from below, but also from somewhere else, like it is wrapped in the wind, carried along the current. It beckons you. A sudden rush of wind stirs the fog, and for a moment, you glimpse something in the distance. Just a shape, a figure standing by the water. It's not quite there yet, it is. You stop, your breath caught in your throat, and wait. The shape shifts, like a shadow at the edge of your vision, and then just as quickly as it came it's gone, slipping back into the fog. You take a step forward, and another. The fog seems to thin around you, and the silence thickens. The river is still there. It's quiet, murmuring the only sound you can hold onto. You feel the weight of something pressing behind you, a presence that is not quite there, but almost. It is the same feeling you had when you first came to the river, the feeling that you are not alone, that someone, or something, is waiting just out of sight. You turn to look over your shoulder, but there's nothing. Only the fading silhouette of the trees. Their branches twisted like forgotten memories. You continue to walk. The water's lullaby pulling you deeper, though you are not sure where you are going anymore. The world around you is fading, the trees, the ground, the mistle seem to blur into a singular, soft gray. The river whispers, but its voice is losing itself, as if it is slipping away. Like a dream you almost remember, but cannot quite hold. You walk, and walk, and walk, and then, without warning, you realize there is no end to the river. There is no beginning either. It loops around itself, an endless circle, and you are caught in its tide, drifting drifting towards nothing. You feel a soft breeze stir the fog, but when you look, it's already gone. The mist clings to your skin like the memory of a forgotten dream. You can barely see the ground beneath your feet, but the path is there, or at least, it was. The fog thickens around you, and each step you take feels like it belongs to someone else, someone who is lost, yet somehow knows exactly where to go. The air is damp, cool, and the only sound you hear is the soft rustling of leaves, like the whispers of those who've walked this way before. It's hard to tell how long you've been walking. The minutes stretch like hours, and yet the hours feel like moments. You glance over your shoulder, but the path you came from is already swallowed by the fog. There is no turning back. There's no need to turn back. Something guides you forward. The path reappears just ahead briefly, like a fleeting thought that you almost catch. The edges of it are faint, but you know instinctively where it leads. A soft whisper on the breeze seems to urge you onward. The trees around you sway gently, their branches not quite touching, but brushing the air, as if trying to speak to you in a language only the wind understands. You listen carefully, but the sound is elusive, like a voice half remembered from a time you can't place. Still, you follow, even though you don't know why. The ground beneath your feet shifts slightly, the soil becoming soft, damp as though it hasn't seen the light of day for years. You step lightly, as if to avoid disturbing the silence, yet there's an underlying hum, like the soft pulse of a heartbeat just beneath the surface of the earth. It draws you in, pulling you forward, and the path reappears again, winding to the left and disappearing into the fog once more. You breathe in deeply, the air heavy with the scent of wet earth and something else, something faint, like the perfume of something old, almost forgotten. The smell reminds you of a place you've never been, but you know it well, like a memory that belongs to someone else in the distance. You see the faintest flicker of light, a lantern perhaps, or a firefly, or something that isn't quite either. It beckons you, even though it's so distant that you almost believe it could be a trick of your tired eyes. You take a step forward, then another, and the light shifts just slightly, as if it's waiting for you to follow. The fog thickens again, this time closing in around you like a curtain drawn too tightly. You reach out instinctively, your hand grazing the air, feeling for something to hold on to. The trees stand still, as if watching you, their trunks worn and smooth from years of rain. You are not alone here, but you don't feel afraid. The path will always return to you, always appear just when you need it. Just when the fog feels like it will swallow you whole. A soft breeze ruffles your hair, and you close your eyes for a moment. There is a subtle shift in the air, as though someone has walked behind you, just out of sight, or perhaps they are still there, waiting for you to notice. You open your eyes again, but nothing is different. Only the fog and the path, which is still just ahead. And then, the path vanishes again. The trees around you form a thick, enclosing circle, their branches reaching out like hands, the shadows they cast long and distorted. For a moment, you feel as though you are trapped in the fog, but even as that thought crosses your mind, the path reappears once more, as though it had never been lost. This time, you do not hesitate. You take the next step forward, and the path stretches out before you, clear and unbroken, like a bridge to somewhere you have never been, but know you must go. You don't ask why, or how, or what waits at the end. There is a trust in this journey, an understanding that you are not meant to know everything. The fog swirls at your feet, the light from the lantern flickering just beyond your reach. You feel as though you are walking between worlds, the waking and the dream, between what is known and what is forgotten. Each step feels like a whisper against the dark, as if the earth itself is speaking to you, guiding you with the gentlest of hands. As you walk, you notice that the trees around you have changed. The trunks are thinner now, more delicate, their bark pale and smooth. The leaves above you shimmer, a faint silver glow reflecting in the soft light. The fog begins to lift, just slightly, revealing the dark outline of a distant hill and beyond. That, the silhouette of something you cannot yet make out. But it doesn't matter. The path is clear now, clearer than it has been since you first stepped into the fog. Your heart beats softly in your chest, a steady rhythm, as if it's in time with the pulse of the world around you. You are not lost, not truly. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and whatever lies ahead will reveal itself in its own time. The lantern's light wavers again, and for a moment, you think you see someone standing near it. A figure, tall and thin, their form barely visible in the shifting mist. They do not speak, and you do not speak to them. They simply stand there, watching, as you move closer. Your steps slow, and for a moment, the silence deepens. You are close. Now, so close you can feel the warmth of the lantern's glow, but as you reach out, the figure vanishes, dissolving into the fog as if they were never there at all. The lantern flickers once more, its light fading into the distance, as though it's waiting for you to find it again. You pause, your hand outstretched, but the lantern is gone. The path is still there, but now it seems to fade into the distance, melting into the fog. The figure, the light, they have all gone, leaving only the lingering sense that they were never truly here. Only a soft whisper, a voice that felt as though it belonged to the earth itself, remains. It's the same whisper that has guided you all along. It speaks of something unknown, something you can't name, The fog swirls around you once more, but this time it feels different. Not threatening, but softer, as though it is wrapping you in a blanket of memories, too faint to remember, but too strong to ignore. And so you continue. The path, though invisible now, still calls to you. It is there, in the distance, waiting for you to follow. The fog recedes as you walk, just enough for you to see that the trees are thinning. The land rises, and in the distance, you catch a glimpse of something, a door, perhaps, or a window standing alone in the mist, framed by shadows. You approach, but the moment you take a step toward it, the fog shifts again. The door vanishes, as though it was never there. There is no trace of the figure, no sign of the lantern, only the soft, distant whisper of the wind. And you, standing on the unseen path, waiting for the next step to reveal itself. You stand in the silence, the whisper of the wind brushing against your skin. Someone is waiting for you, just out of sight. You wait, but there is no movement, no sign, only the feeling that you are not alone. The air around you shifts, soft and cool, like the last breath of a memory you can't quite recall. You step beyond the reach of the trees, where the forest begins to thin, and a vast emptiness stretches before you. The horizon is uncertain here, edges of the land blurring into a place where your mind can't quite settle. It feels both endless and impossibly small, like you are standing on the edge of something ancient, waiting. There is a whisper on the wind, a faint rustling, almost like the trees are speaking in a language you almost know. The wind carries a scent of damp earth and forgotten days, the kind that fills the spaces between the breaths you take. Your skin tingles, prickling with an odd sense of being watched. You glance around, half expecting someone to step out from behind a tree or to find a shadow moving at the corner of your eye, but no one appears. Only the soft sway of the tall grass, bending in time with the breeze, and the faint echo of distant footsteps. The land is quiet, yet it hums with an unsettling vibrancy, something almost alive, as though the soil itself holds memories, ancient and lingering. The trees, sparse now, stand like sentinels along the edge of the forest. Their gnarled branches reach upward in a frozen dance. But it is the shadows that catch your attention, the way they move ever so slightly, like something watching, something waiting. The space between the trunks seems to stretch and pull at your senses. But no matter how hard you look, nothing stands there. You breathe in the air deeply, but the stillness is unsettling. There is no sound beyond the rustling grass, no birds, no insects, no creatures making their way through the underbrush. A silence settles that feels almost too thick to bear, and for a moment, you wonder if this place is suspended in time, caught somewhere between day and night, between waking and dream. Then, you hear it. A faint crackle, like static on a radio, just on the edge of your hearing. It's a low hum, steady and almost comforting. The kind of sound that would make you pause, turn toward it, listen for something that isn't quite there. The hairs on the back of your neck rise as the sound grows louder, but no source presents itself. You step forward, feeling a pull in your chest, as if the ground beneath you is calling, urging you to keep going. Every step is careful, measured, as though the earth itself might shift beneath your weight. The air thickens around you, and the wind, once gentle, begins to stir in sudden gusts that rustle through the grass, tugging at the hem of your clothes, It's then that you feel its eyes. They press against you from all sides, unseen but unmistakable. It's not fear that grips you, but the overwhelming sensation of recognition. These eyes, though they remain hidden, feel familiar, like the distant memory of someone you've known. Someone long forgotten, whose name you can no longer recall. They are not unkind, though their presence is heavy. A patient waiting that stirs something deep within you. You glance over your shoulder, half expecting to see something materializing behind you. But the trees stand silent, unmoving. The shadows they cast stretch long across the land, but they remain just shadow shapes that do not belong to anything, just echoes of something more. A moment passes, maybe more, and you feel the weight of the watcher's gaze growing stronger. You cannot name what it is, but it's as if it's been here longer than you've ever been, waiting for you to step into this forgotten place, waiting for you to notice. There is a path ahead of you, narrow and winding, leading deeper into the emptiness. You are drawn to it, despite the sense of hesitation that pulls at you, a quiet warning. The footsteps that echo in your mind grow louder, but they are not your own. Not yet, at least. They are someone else's, a traveler, perhaps. Or someone who once stood here long before you arrived. The thought drifts through your mind like smoke, fading almost before it forms. It feels like a memory that never quite reached its conclusion. The landscape before you is not quite a meadow, nor is it a field. It is something else, something suspended, like the space between two breaths. The grass moves in slow waves, like an ocean of forgotten thoughts. The horizon, distant and hazy, seems to draw you in, but with each step, it never seems to come closer. You are no closer to the land that stretches before you than when you first saw it. And yet, it feels as though you are moving deeper, moving towards something both distant and imminent. A flicker of motion catches your eye, just a shadow, moving among the trees. You stop, heart thudding, but when you look, there is nothing there. The stillness returns, pressing down on you like an invisible weight. The sound of static is louder now, and for a moment, you could swear you hear something, a voice, faint, far away. It calls to you, its tone both familiar and foreign. The wind picks up again, swirling around you, and the trees seem to lean in closer, their branches trembling with anticipation. The air feels thicker now, like something is waiting to step out from the depths of the forest. Something that has been waiting just as long as the eyes you feel upon you. You take another step forward, drawn by a force you can neither name nor understand. The feeling grows, someone is here with you. It feels as though it has always been here, as though this place was built for this very moment, for your arrival. The shadows at the edge of the forest seem to stretch toward you, reaching like fingers, or perhaps memories, forgotten but not gone. And then, without warning, the wind stops. The air hangs still, and in the sudden silence, you hear it, the softest of whispers. It is not a voice, not a sound you can hold on to, but the rustling of leaves in the deep forest. The trees shift, their limbs creaking, as though they, too, are listening, waiting. You turn to leave, but there is a pressure in the air now, like the weight of time itself, pressing down on you. You can feel it, just at the edge of your vision, the last glance of something that might be more than a shadow, a door that isn't there, a figure that isn't quite human, the flutter of something that was never meant to be seen. You pause, for a moment, but the stillness is complete now. A silence that feels too heavy to bear. You take a final step back, as if to leave, but the land, the trees, and the air hold you there. The eyes are gone now, but you know they were never truly gone at all. They are always watching, always waiting, from the edge of the forest, just beyond the reach of the light. You walk away, but the land behind you seems to fade into the memory of something that never quite existed. There is no sound as you leave. The wind has stopped, and the trees no longer move. Only the faintest trace of something lingering behind you, a shadow that seems to vanish the moment you try to focus on it. The edge of the forest is quiet now, and the eyes are gone, but they will be waiting again when you are ready to listen. Asterisk. You walk, but it doesn't feel like walking. Your feet are light, barely touching the ground, as though the earth itself is reluctant to let you go. The air is thick with something you can't name, heavy yet fleeting, like a memory you almost recall but can't quite place. It's here, in the woods, where the trees move slowly, as though they've been waiting, patient and silent, for something, someone. The branches sway without wind. The leaves stir softly, and you wonder if they've whispered your name. It's a place that seems timeless, a place that has always existed and will always exist. The forest breathes with you, your heartbeat echoing in the soft, damp air. The path ahead of you is narrow, barely wide enough for you to pass, yet it stretches endlessly in both directions. You follow it, not out of a sense of urgency, but because it feels like you've been here before. You might not remember when, but the steps come easily, like your feet are guided by some invisible thread that pulls you onward. A whisper of a breeze touches your cheek. It's the faintest sensation, but it carries with it the taste of something familiar, something long forgotten. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the coolness wash over you. When you open them, the landscape has shifted, just slightly. The trees seem closer now, their trunks knotted and ancient, as though they've been standing for centuries, watching, waiting. There is a scent in the air, a sweetness mixed with the damp earth. Flowers, though not quite flowers, more like the memory of flowers bloom in clusters at your feet. You don't remember seeing them before, but they feel like something you've known all your life. Their petals seem to pulse gently, as if they breathe alongside you. You hear a sound then, a soft, almost imperceptible sound, like a rustle, or perhaps a whisper. Your name. It almost sounds like you stop, the world pausing for a brief moment. The sound doesn't repeat, but you feel it like an invitation, calling you deeper into the woods. It feels like you should know what it means, but the meaning slips away, just out of reach. The path narrows further, and you find yourself walking closer to the trees, their bark rough under your fingertips as you graze past. Each tree feels different, like they've all seen something, known something you haven't. As you pass one, its bark seems to pulse, a subtle movement that is too real to ignore. You stop, turning back to look at it, but the tree is still, just a tree once more. You keep walking. Ahead, the path begins to open up, revealing a clearing, a small patch of grass where the sun, if it's even the sun, shines through the thick canopy above. It's a soft light, not harsh or bright, but gentle, like it's been filtered through time itself. The clearing is empty, save for the stone, a large, flat stone, half buried in the earth at the center. You walk toward it, almost instinctively. The closer you get, the more you feel it's the weight of the moment, the pull of something ancient. The stone is covered in moss, soft and green, and as you kneel beside it, you feel a faint hum under your fingertips. It's not a sound, exactly. More like a vibration that fills the air. You don't question it. You know, deep down, that this is where you've been heading all along. Your hand rests on the stone, and in that touch, you feel a flood of images. Faces you don't recognize, places you've never been, sounds that are so familiar, they almost make you weep. A door closing gently, a hand reaching out, a shadow flickering at the edge of your vision, always just out of sight, and then like a fleeting thought, it's gone. The world holds its breath. The clearing, the stone, the trees, they all feel suddenly distant, as if they belong to a dream. You sit there, your fingers still pressed against the stone, but the connection has faded, slipping through your grasp like sand. You blink and look around, but the clearing seems smaller now, as though it is folding in on itself, shrinking. The wind stirs again, but it's different this time. It's colder, sharper, and it carries with it a soft, unintelligible murmur. The leaves rustle, but the sound is too distant, too muffled. The trees, once so close, now feel farther away, as though the path ahead has suddenly lengthened without warning. You stand, your legs stiff from the quiet stillness of the clearing. As you turn to leave, something catches your eye, a small glimmer, a flash of movement, just beyond the tree line. It's gone before you can focus on it, but you know you saw something that shouldn't be there. The hair on the back of your neck rises, but you ignore it, stepping slowly back toward the path. But as you walk, you begin to notice something. The woods are no longer silent. The quiet hum that filled the air has faded, replaced by a new sound, footsteps. Soft, slow, but steady just behind you. You pause, your heart racing, but the footsteps stop as soon as you do. You take another step, the footsteps follow. You turn, but no one is there. The path feels longer now, winding, shifting with every step. The trees stretch higher, their branches twisting together, blocking out the little light that remains. The air is colder, now, pressing against your skin like an unspoken presence. You keep walking though. It's the only thing you can do. And then, just as you think you're about to reach the edge of the woods, the sound of footsteps falters, then stops entirely. You pause again, breath held. The world feels quieter now. The only sound, the rustling of the leaves, the occasional creak of the trees. You turn once more, but nothing. There is nothing there. You breathe a sigh of relief, but it feels hollow, as if something is waiting, something just out of sight. The shadow of something, perhaps. Something that knows you're here but waits, watches. You don't dare turn again, but you can feel it there, just beyond the trees. A door creaks open in the distance, far away. Then, silence. The wind shifts, and for a moment, just a moment, you almost hear your name soft, almost like a lullaby. And then it's gone. The path ahead of you stretches on, a quiet road leading nowhere, leading everywhere. But for now, it's all that's left. The air grows colder. The footsteps have faded. And yet, you can't shake the feeling that you're not alone, not yet. The night air feels thick, heavier than it should be, and the world around you is muffled, as though it exists just beyond a thin veil. There is no moon yet, though its shadow stretches across the ground, darker than the sky. You follow the soft sound of something water, maybe, or whispers, too faint to catch. The stones beneath your feet are worn smooth, the path uneven and shifting underfoot. The air smells faintly of moss, of something old and forgotten. You come to the well, as though it has been waiting for you, its dark mouth open and wide. Its stone walls are smooth, slick with years of weather and time. The well is silent, though you swear it hums under your touch, its deep, hollow call singing in the depths of your memory. You cannot see the bottom. The darkness feels like it has no end. The stones so black they absorb the light around them. The water, still and unmoving, mirrors the sky, though it ripples ever so slightly when you look too closely. The surface shivers, an unnatural motion, like it is breathing. You lean in, your breath shallow, as though you've stepped into a place where time forgets to move. The wind stirs around you, soft and cool, carrying whispers, fragments of words you cannot catch, no matter how you strain to hear. A low sigh pulls through the trees, and the shadows shift, like something is moving just at the edge of your vision. The wind speaks, but only in a language you don't remember learning. It's a language of silences and half-formed thoughts, like a memory that comes back just as you're waking from a dream. You reach down, your fingers brushing the stones that line the well's edge. They are cold, slick, like the remnants of something long forgotten. The moment your hand touches them, something shifts. The air thickens, and the whispers grow louder. But they are not words, they are sensations, as though the wind itself is speaking to you in a way you cannot understand. The well does not answer your call. It does not echo when you speak its name, nor does it ripple when you drop a stone into its depths. It simply waits. You wonder why it waits. You wonder who it is waiting for. The water below does not reflect your face. It is not clear, not clean. It is as though the moon itself has been bent and folded within the water, the reflection twisting like the shape of a forgotten dream. There are no stars here, no light other than the flickering edge of moonlight on the surface of the well. But you see something move beneath the water. A ripple, a wave that shouldn't be there. And for a moment, you think you hear a voice, soft, distant, barely there. Come closer. The words drift through your mind like a fog, the sound barely formed but undeniable. You step back instinctively, but the pull of the well is stronger now. Like gravity itself has shifted. It hums with a quiet urgency, the air thicker, colder. You feel it in your chest, like a heartbeat that isn't your own, like a pulse beneath the ground you can't escape. Come closer. The wind has shifted again, carrying something heavier this time, as though it carries the weight of years of lost things, of forgotten promises. You close your eyes for a moment, and when you open them again, the well seems different. The stones around it seem older, cracked as though time itself has crept into their edges. The ground is soft underfoot, as though the earth beneath you is sinking, or perhaps it is you that is sinking, slowly, into the night. You cannot remember how long you've been standing here. Hours, days. There is no sense of time anymore. Only the soft rustling of the leaves, the whisper of the wind, the sigh of the trees. The world feels both close and far away, as though you're caught in some moment between waking and dreaming. You take a step closer to the edge. Something shifts beneath the water. the reflection warping again, as though the surface of the well is not water at all, but something much deeper, much older. You can almost make out shapes in the darkness, shadows that feel like memories, faint and distorted, yet impossible to shake. The sound of the wind grows louder, more insistent. You hear voices now, clear and close, but they are not your own. Come closer. The voice is familiar. It has been here before, whispered in your ear in the quiet hours of the night. It is an invitation, a beckoning, but to what? What lies beneath the stillness of the well? What waits in the dark waters? You can't remember, but you feel as though you've known this place your entire life. The trees around you seem to hum, and the shadows stretch, reaching out, twining around your feet, tugging gently, insistently. The stones beneath your hands feel warm now, their coldness gone, as though they have been holding the warmth of the earth for centuries. You hesitate, the pulse beneath the ground growing stronger, as though something is moving just beneath the surface, beneath you. You peer down into the water again. This time, you don't see your reflection at all. Only the moon, twisted and shattered, like pieces of a forgotten memory that you can't hold onto. The water swirls gently, its surface undisturbed, yet it seems alive with something hidden. In its depths, something you cannot quite touch, but you know it is there. Come closer. You feel it, then something not seen, not heard, but felt. A presence. It surrounds you like fog, wrapping its arms around your shoulders, your neck, like a forgotten lover, a lost friend. It holds you, not with force, but with a soft insistence, as though it has been waiting for you. For this moment, the stone walls of the well seem to breathe, their ancient sighs filling the silence. The earth below you shifts, the ground beneath, your feet pulsing gently, as though something lives deep beneath the earth. You wonder if it has always been this way. If the earth has always been watching, waiting. You reach out, your fingers brushing the edge of the stone, and the moment you do, the wind stops. The world holds its breath, as though caught in a moment of anticipation. You feel a strange warmth against your fingertips, like the remnants of a thought long forgotten, an answer that you cannot remember asking. You close your eyes, feeling the pulse of the earth beneath your feet. For a moment, the whispers grow silent. The air is still. Then, the wind stirs once more, and in the distance, just beyond the edge of your sight, you hear a soft sound, like footsteps close, but not quite near enough. A shadow moves across the trees, vanishing as quickly as it came. You take a deep breath, feeling the weight of the silence. When you open your eyes, the well is just a well again. Its stone walls are cold once more, its surface still, but the invitation lingers, like a thought you cannot quite remember. The night is thick around you. The shadows feel deeper, darker, and somewhere, just out of sight, someone is waiting, watching. The wind stirs once more, and the branches above sway. The night is still, yet the presence lingers, like a shadow that does not quite belong. You walk through the forest, your footsteps soft against the damp earth, though the leaves seem to crunch beneath them. The wind moves through the trees in a slow rhythmic sigh, carrying with it a voice, a sound, your name just faint enough that you can't quite be sure. At first, you think it's the wind, but the sound is too precise, too personal. You stop, holding your breath. but the forest only responds with a deeper silence. You turn your head, scanning the shadows between the trees. You know you should not have heard it, whatever it was, yet the echo of your name lingers in the back of your mind like a song you once knew but can no longer hum. The trees sway above you, and the pale moonlight trickles through the gaps in the canopy, pooling in quiet patches on the ground. Their shadows stretch long, twisting like memories, trying to pull you in, to make you remember something you've forgotten. But what? The air grows heavier, thick with the scent of moss and earth. The breeze lifts the hair on your neck as you continue down the narrow path, a road lined with ferns and old stone walls, crumbled by time. The air feels colder now, though the season says it shouldn't be. You pull your jacket tighter around you, your breath visible in the pale light. It's strange how the forest has become so intimate, how it breathes with you, with every step you take. Suddenly, there's a shift, as if the entire forest has exhaled in unison, like a sigh of relief or a warning. Your footsteps, once muffled in the earth, begin to echo. Not just beneath you, but ahead of you, behind you. The sound of your steps multiplies, as if the forest is mimicking you, but with a delay. You feel it in your chest, an odd, unsettling pressure that rises to meet the quiet, stretching every small sound into something ominous. And then, again your name, so soft, it might be a whisper of the wind, but you know it's not you. Stop your heart racing in your chest. The forest is still, too still. Your breath comes in short bursts, visible in the cold night air. But the trees move, or they seem to, in a way you cannot explain. The branches rustle, 1,000 leaves fluttering in the wind, but it's not the wind, is it? The wind doesn't whisper like that. Your gaze drifts upward to the towering trunks that have grown so tall they seem to brush against the very sky. The forest feels ancient, the kind of old that remembers everything, every footstep, every word spoken, every quiet cry in the night. You feel it now, beneath your feet, in the soft earth, the deep roots of the trees stretching through the soil like hands reaching, waiting. You walk on, feeling the weight of unseen eyes on your back. The wind carries something again, a sound, something familiar. Your name, clearer now, though still carried on the wind, as if the trees themselves are speaking it. Is it you? The question forms, fragile as breath. You know the answer will never come. The air grows heavy again, thick with something unspoken. Every footfall feels like it belongs to someone else, someone who once walked here. The distance between you and the trees seems to stretch, the path narrowing until it seems to spiral inward. You follow it, compelled, though every instinct tells you to stop. The voice is too close now, and the trees are listening. Ahead, the path curves gently. The light from the moon flickers through the branches as the wind stirs the leaves once more. And then you see an old stone structure, almost hidden by the growth of vines and moss, standing at the end of the path. A house, though you are sure you've never seen it before. You feel an inexplicable pull toward it. It looks abandoned, forgotten by time. But even from here, there's something about it that feels wrong. The way the shadows cling to it, or how the air around it seems to pulse. It's breathing, just like the forest. Inhale, exhale. You step forward, each movement slow, cautious. The soft sound of your shoes against the earth drowned by the strange hum of the place. The door is cracked open, a thin sliver of darkness beckoning you inside. You hesitate. The wind is louder now, the rustling of the trees more frantic. You're not sure why, but you feel as if the house is calling you to live. Feels like a dream. But it's too vivid for that, too real. You step forward. As you pass through the threshold, the temperature inside drops. Your breath fogs in the air as you take in the dim room. There's a faded rug on the floor, its pattern lost to time. The walls are lined with bookshelves, most of the books missing or rotting away. Yet, there's a sense of presence here, an unseen watcher, perhaps, or the faint echo of someone who once lived here. You walk deeper into the house, your steps slow. A faint creak sounds above you, footsteps, though there's no one there. You glance upward, half expecting to see someone on the stairs. But there's nothing, only the weight of silence pressing down. And then, once again, that voice, it's so soft, you almost miss it. Your name, carried on a breeze from somewhere, deep within the house. It is not a whisper, not the wind. Something is moving behind those walls. You turn, but there's nothing. Only the room breathing with you. You move again, unsure why, your feet carrying you through hallways, through empty rooms, until you find yourself standing at a tall window. The glass is cracked, but the view is clear. Outside, the forest stretches on, endless, dark, and quiet. You think you can hear the wind again, but the voice is clearer now. It is no longer just a whisper in the trees. It is calling you from somewhere just out of reach. And then, you feel it, a faint pressure behind you. The sensation that someone, or something, is standing just out of sight. You can almost hear them breathe, too, as if they've been there all along, watching you from the shadows. You turn slowly, and the room feels smaller now. The door behind you, the one you came through, is closed. Quiet. You don't remember closing it, but it's shut now. The air is thick, laden with the echo of your name, but the house doesn't breathe anymore. It's still, too still. For a moment, you think you see a shadow move, but when you blink, it's gone. You swallow, but your throat feels dry. There's no sound now, just the beating of your own heart. You're not sure how much time has passed. The house seems to pulse with a strange, endless silence. And then, without warning, you hear it again. A soft rustle. The wind has picked up once more, but this time, it carries something different. It carries a sense of leaving. A shadow slips past the window, vanishing like a memory fading into the dark. The door to the room you are standing in creaks open on its own, just enough to invite you to follow. But the air is colder now, colder than it was before. And the sound of your name lingers, only it no longer feels familiar. It feels distant, lost, as if something or someone has moved too far away to reach. The door swings closed behind you. You stand in the silence, and though you could swear someone just passed through the room with you, there's no one here now. The feeling that something was watching you lingers, and the house, now quiet again, seems to breathe once more, but only for a moment. Then it's gone. You step into the clearing, the soft earth beneath your feet, still damp from the evening mist. The fog, which had once surrounded you like a heavy blanket, begins to dissipate. It lingers in the trees, caught in their branches like memory, fading, but unwilling to let go. The moon is a pale witness in the sky, and its light glints off the wet grass, casting silver shadows across the ground. A wind stirs, but it's different now. Lighter, almost as if the air is breathing with you. The whispers that had been carried on it now fall silent, leaving only the sound of your own steady breath. You feel the night slipping away, but it clings to you for just a moment longer, wrapping itself around your shoulders like a forgotten shawl. The path ahead is empty, a simple stretch of earth, darkened by the retreating fog. But you know it's not just the mist that's fading. There's something more, something quiet and profound in the air around you, as if you've reached the very edge of the world and you are now standing in the space between moments where everything holds its breath. The trees beside you are still, but you know they are watching. Their gnarled branches reach out like fingers, trembling slightly as the wind passes through them. They remember your name, or at least they seem to. You don't know why, but the feeling is there, a deep, unspoken recognition that settles in your chest. You take another step. The ground beneath you, soft and yielding, and the sensation that you are being led somewhere, that you have always been led to this exact moment, settles over you. Each footstep feels like it is both the beginning and the end of the journey. The path is so familiar, yet it holds the strange feeling of something forgotten, as though it was once part of your past and has somehow come back to find you. The silence is overwhelming now, so complete that it presses against you. Not the kind of silence that brings peace, but the kind that fills the spaces between thoughts, between breaths. It's as if the world is holding itself together by the thinnest of threads, and if you dare move too quickly, it might unravel entirely. But you don't rush. You walk slowly, the steady rhythm of your feet matching the pulse of your own heart. The air grows cooler as you move deeper into the clearing, and you wonder if it's the night itself that's breathing now, exhaling its last breath before the dawn. The feeling of being watched has never left you, though it's softened, becoming almost affectionate, like the presence of a forgotten friend lingering at the edge of your memory. You reach a point where the path seems to stop, leading only into the dark expanse of the forest. The trees here are ancient, their trunks thick and twisted, the roots snaking into the earth like veins. There's something inviting about the shadows they cast, something that promises refuge, but also a deep uncertainty. A soft hum fills the air, so faint you could almost mistake it for the sound of your own thoughts. It's the sound of something waiting. You don't know what for, but you feel it pressing against you like the quiet anticipation of a moment about to pass. You pause, looking over your shoulder, half expecting to see something or someone there, but the clearing remains as it is, empty, silent. The mist is almost gone now, but the memory of it clings to the air, a trace of something once there, but no longer. The wind shifts again, this time carrying with it the faintest whisper. You can't make out the words, but you feel it, the echo of something long forgotten. The wind itself seems to pause, as if listening to the whisper, and then it blows gently through the trees, scattering the last remnants of fog. It feels like a message, but you can't quite reach it. It slips just out of your grasp, like a dream fading as you try to hold on to it. You take a step forward, drawn toward the shadowed forest ahead. Your breath quickens, but not from fear, no. It's something else. A quiet excitement, a soft pull in your chest, as though the forest itself is calling to you, beckoning you deeper. The path is no longer visible, swallowed by the dark and the trees, but the feeling of being pulled forward is unmistakable. Your footfalls echo, though they shouldn't, the sound a step ahead of you, as if they belong to someone else. You pause. A distant memory stirs in you, something you can't quite remember, but feel as if you've known forever. The footsteps are not your own, but still, you walk on. Ahead, the trees begin to thin, and a faint light begins to glow at the horizon, the first sign of dawn. But it's distant, far off, as though the morning is something you are not yet ready to meet. You turn to look behind you once more, expecting to see the edge of the forest or the remnants of the clearing. But all that remains is darkness, a shadow that seems to stretch endlessly. There's a weight in the air now, a subtle pressure that builds in your chest. You can't tell if it's the quiet passage of time or the stillness of the night, but something shifts. You feel it in the depths of your bones, a presence that hasn't been there before. Or perhaps it has, and you've only just noticed it now. The silence returns, but it's different this time. It's not empty. It holds something. A sense of something just out of reach, something waiting for the right moment. You feel its eyes on you, though you cannot see them. It's there, somewhere, just beyond the periphery of your vision, watching from the shadows, its gaze heavy and familiar, as if you've known it your whole life. The trees around you begin to stir again, their branches swaying in the wind, but you can't tell if the movement is from the breeze or from something else. The hum that had filled the air earlier returns, this time stronger, more distinct. It's the sound of something ancient, something forgotten, and yet it pulls you forward, urging you deeper into the woods, toward that ever-distant light on the horizon. You stop, your breath caught in your throat. The forest is silent once more, but it's not the same silence as before. It's heavier now, as though something is about to shift, as though the forest itself is waiting for you to make the next move. You stand at the edge of the woods, your feet planted in the soft earth, and you realize whatever you've been seeking, you have already found. The wind dies down, and the night breathes its last, holding on to the memory of what was, and what is no longer. The shadows in the trees seem to shift one last time before they vanish, and the soft hum fades into the distance. As you turn to walk away, you hear the faintest sound, almost imperceptible. It's a door closing softly behind you, or perhaps it's the rustle of a forgotten memory. But by the time you turn back to look, it is gone, just a shadow, slipping back into the forest, leaving only the faintest echo in the quiet, fading night.